Morning came, blessed by a warm sun and a cool breeze as the city went about its business. Steel had installed himself in the chair next to McCall's desk, waiting for her to come in. While he waited, his gaze was morbidly drawn to a tall, thin man who was in one of the briefing rooms that he seemed to have taken over to use as his own personal office. A young uniformed officer passed by. "Hey, Rachel, who's the spooky guy?" John Steele asked her. She gave him a friendly but mystified look. "I'm asking, who's the strange, spooky guy over there?" He pointed to the room across from where he was sitting.
"That is our local expert, Dr. Davidson," the woman replied. "He's the guy the Cap calls in when he thinks we're in trouble. I'm not sure what he's an expert on, apart from freaking people out."
And with that, she left him staring at the precinct's new addition. Sam McCall strolled in and sat opposite him.
"Morning,"
she said, spearing Detective Steele with one of her special grins. "Morning. Satisfy my curiosity," he asked bluntly, jerking a thumb at Davidson. "Who is that guy from the freak show?"
"Well, if you showed up for briefings now and then, you would know that Dr. Davidson is helping with the investigation,"
she said, sipping the coffee she found on her desk. "What do we know about him?" he said, watching as the man in the room opposite began leafing desperately through paperwork, obviously searching for something.
"What do we know about anyone? Especially you,"
she added dryly. "What? Okay, I take your point, but really, something about that guy—" McCall could tell Steele was unsettled by the psychiatrist, that something did not sit right, but she had no idea what it was, and she was not sure that Steele knew either.
"Well, it appears your hunch about the date books being on their computers was right,"
she said, reluctant to admit it to him.
"We're just waiting for a copy so we can run through them together and check for any matches."
As McCall sifted through her emails, she too found herself distracted by the doctor. He was peering at the board and muttering to himself, wringing his hands and then going back to the papers on his desk. "Do we have anything on Susan Black yet?" Steele asked, bringing her back into the here and now.
"Not much. We know she worked on Wall Street. She was one of the top female sellers there, and oh, yes, we finally got a photo of her."
McCall opened the file in front of her, and pulling out the picture, she passed it across the desk. Steele's face suddenly dropped. He snatched the picture from her and strode across to the board.
"Hey, watch it, will you?" said McCall in protest. "What's the matter with you?"
she asked, looking at the fingers he'd just pulled the photo from. "It's not what's wrong with me. The real question is what's wrong with this picture, or should I say, all these pictures." As he placed the picture of Susan Black in the blank space under her name, McCall saw what he meant. "See? They could be sisters. They're so similar." He turned and looked at her.
"Really similar,"
she agreed.
"I would have said almost identical myself, but that's just me."